Everyone, this is Victor and this is Real Money Matters. Today we're going to talk about the basics of personal finance. A lot of shows will tell you how to retire by the time you're 30 or how to become a millionaire in, less than X amount of days, or I don't know, how to do all these wonderful magical things, which are great goals to have. But before you set down the road to retiring by the time you're 30 or becoming a millionaire in 5 years on a 50K salary, you need to understand the basics of personal finance. So there's really three things that we need to take a look at. The very first thing that you need to do is you need to make a budget. So without a budget, none of this works. And a budget is super simple. I was speaking with someone this weekend. They were like, Victor, I don't even know where to start with a budget. It's simple arithmetic. It's math in versus math out and accounting for all those numbers, right? So it's the income that you're bringing in from whatever revenue streams you have, whether it be a job or if you're a landlord or whatever the case may be, and then all of your expenditures for every single month. And you need to detail every little thing. So you're not just worried about your utilities, your car payment, your cell phone bill, your internet or cable bill, but we're also talking about those subscription services that you pay for, whether it's streaming services like Hulu or Netflix or Spotify, just anything that you spend money on. Anytime you are giving money to someone else, you need to account for that also. And it's basically that money coming in versus that money going out, and detailing that and getting all of that on paper. Once you've got that down, you need to really take a look at all of your expenditures and figure out which ones are needs and which ones are wants. And we'll get deeper into how to build a budget in another show. But for right now, we really just want to touch on the basics. So again, you're gonna need to figure out what your needs and your wants are, and you're gonna need to figure out which wants you can live without. So needs, we can't live without, right? We need them. Wants, though, are just that. It's something that we want, we don't necessarily need. But you don't wanna get rid of every single want, because it's important to enjoy your life while you're on your path to being financially stable, right? So the next step is you want to manage debt. Now, there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, debt is terrible, you shouldn't have any debt, and I'm completely debt-free, and I just spent the last 15 years of my life eating ramen, but my house is paid off, and my car is paid off, and yada, yada, yada. So part of managing debt is also paying attention to your credit score, because debt really only becomes, on a personal finance level, debt is only bad when there's high interest rates associated with it. And that could be as simple as timing for when you got the loan, or it could be a period of time where you had a bad credit score, or whatever the case may be. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to reach out to our lenders, especially in the case of high interest credit cards. You're going to want to talk to them. Just 2 weeks ago, I was able to negotiate a interest rate down on one of my cards. So if you have any outstanding debt on cards, if you have a student loan or any sort of loan that has a really high interest rate, you're going to want to take care of that. And then again, in another show, we will go over the different methods for tackling debt. There's a couple of different ways. There are some that make the most fiscal sense, but when applied in the real world, don't work for everyone because we are all different. So, and that's something that we'll tackle then. And then the third thing you want to do is you need to be investing. Notice I didn't say saving. You want to be investing. Saving is when you take your money and you stick it in your mattress. You hold it in a checking account or a savings account with no interest. We don't want to do that. We want to invest for a goal. Now, in my case, the goal that I'm investing for is retirement. I'm not trying to retire by the age that I'm 30 because I'm past that. I am looking to retire at the normal age, but when I do retire, I want to be able to live a little bit of a better life than I did while I was working. It's kind of the way I look at it is it's a reward for all the hard work that I've put in during my adult life. And, I want to be able to reap those rewards. I also am trying to generate real financial longevity so that I can have something to pass on to my kids, because I do have 2 daughters. So that's something that we want to think about in this last step. It's investing for a purpose. If you're not sure of what that goal is, you still should be investing. And the way all these things tie together, basically you need to form a budget so you know how much money that you have to set aside for investing. So hopefully once we're done working out our budgets, we realize that we actually do have more money coming in that is going out. Once we've factored in our needs and we've been able to sort through our wants and figure out some things that we can do without, and some things that we can't do without. And that's going to give us a budget schedule for putting away money for investing. Now, in the case that you've done a budget, you've completed your budget, you've tallied up all the numbers, and you have more money going out than going in, well, we have a problem here. And that problem is that you honestly are not making enough money. So there's lots of ways that you can make money. Even as an adult, it's all about being resourceful and industrious. If you rent or own a home and you live in a residential neighborhood, maybe it's swallowing your pride and mowing some neighbors' lawns for $40 a week. You do, 5 lawns a week, and that's an extra $200. That's extra $800 a month that you could be making. You could make YouTube videos. You could do a podcast. You could work a side job somewhere. There's lots of different things that you can do to increase your income, because none of this works unless you are making enough money to meet your needs. So that's how the income and invest portion relate to each other. Now, as far as managing our debt, we want to make sure that we are, if we haven't completely managed all of our high interest debt, we're well on our way to getting that taken care of, especially before you start saving. If your interest rates on your debt are higher than the interest that you're generating in your investments, then you're actually losing money. So we want to make sure that we are paying down those balances as quickly as we can, so we're generating the least amount of interest, and so that we can start investing as soon as possible. Now, you'll notice the one thing that I didn't mention in that last step of saving, and this is something that a lot of people bundle into the savings group, is or what I call the investing group, is having an emergency fund. Now, there's a lot of back and forth. Some people say, oh, you should have an emergency fund. Oh, you shouldn't have an emergency fund. The reality of the fact is that this should be part of your budget. These are things that you are putting away for every month. And an emergency fund is to take care of the expenses that you would have on a monthly basis. This is completely separate from your investing for saving for a house or, some other form of real estate, so that you can become, get into leveraging real estate to generate money, or maybe you are like me, saving for retirement. Whatever that case may be, we almost did this in one take. Your emergency fund should be accounted for in your budget. Now, I'm not going to tell you whether you need 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, half a year, 2 years, whatever the case may be, because I don't know realistically what you're going to end up needing. You could lose your job. due to a variety of factors. And then who knows how long you're going to be out of work. So, my whole thing is make that a part of your budget. And then you can invest that money with the money that you're investing for your goal, but make sure that you are accounting for it in some way. It's incredibly important, and it's a big part to feeling financially secure. So, the common denominator between being wealthy and being financially secure is not having to worry about money, right? It's being financially secure, meaning that, once all the ins and outs are factored in, whether you are financially independent and you don't need a source of income, or you need to work for that income, you're not worried about paying your bills. You're not worried about going out to eat with friends. You're not worried about buying groceries. You're not worried about buying gas. And believe it or not, this may not be you, but there are a lot of people in this country that live paycheck to paycheck. And that does not mean that they are living at or below the poverty line. You could be making six figures and living paycheck to paycheck. I know someone who makes about $250 a year and lives paycheck to paycheck because he does not have a grasp on his personal finances. And it's pretty embarrassing when, your friends are like, hey, you want to go on this trip? And you're like, yeah, I can, but can you spot me the money until, next Friday or whatever the case may be. So basically the goal is we want to get rid of all of that. We just want to be in a comfortable place where we're saving and investing for a specific goal. We've got money set aside in case some sort of emergency pops up, be it whether you lose your job, you get a flat tire, you need a new car battery, emergency medical expenses, whatever. That's all taken care of in our emergency fund. And we're really acknowledging and tackling our bad debt. So we are going to cover all three of these subjects in depth in the next 3 shows. So make sure you like this video by hitting the little button below, turn that thumb blue. Make sure you subscribe, and if you found any value in this, hit that little notification bell, and it will let you know when the next video in this series comes out. So once again, my name's Victor, this is Real Money Matters, and I'll see you guys later.